So, hey folks, how's it going? We're live. It's Friday. Hope you've all had a good week. Apologies for early in the week. Didn't quite have the time nor the energy to do any of the streaming early in the week. I do miss it. I do miss streaming when I'm not live. But thankfully, everything is lined up today, and I'm even early for a change, which is good. Could have been even earlier, but I thought, you know what? Let's not push it. Let's just go with a schedule. Before we continue, let's get some music on the go. Let's find some nice music. Where's my music? I don't listen to enough music actually on my computer. I listen to like stuff on YouTube and whatnot, but for actual files downloaded to my computer, I don't really listen to a lot. Let's expand this. What am I doing? Extract files. Oh no, cancel. The files already existing. Let's grab them. It's not in alphabetical order. Let's make it alphabetical. We can find them. There it is. Cool. We'll just switch over the music occasionally. Now, is that going to come through loud enough? Let's turn this down my ear and put this up. There it goes, just in the background now. Cool, switch over to Unity. We can carry on with this. So, last week I was messing around with the camera mechanics. So the camera was working before, but I was using it as a child object. The idea that the camera should be in the hierarchy up here, for certainly the main camera. And it should be controlled via code, ideally. Because that allows you to do a lot more things. Plus, that camera can then follow multiple different people, and it's not tied to any one kind of particular one particular kind of object. I still need to animate this guy, but so we're going to work on conversations. So we do have conversation objects. So where is the trigger? Conversation trigger, there it is. Let's drop that there. See how this goes. So this can have a conversation attached. So let's drag that conversation into it. So that's now attached to here. Now in this particular conversation, we need to have a list of dialogues. And we've got one dialogue here. We can drag that into. Can we drag it into there? Let's go +1. +1 and drag that dialogue. So we've got one dialogue object. Object? Yeah, one dialogue object. And then there's +1 for a character. Now, I recall last week I was thinking a different way of handling this dialogue kind of system by having IDs, like each character having an ID, like carrying an ID card. Because otherwise I would have to drag this particular guy into the conversation. So ordinarily I'd have to do this. And that's kind of how I've set it up at the moment. If we look at the code, let's go to the code for that. It says character dialogue, so that's just a dialogue conversation. There we go. So we have a list of game object characters. So the alternative is to have a character ID as an object. We make a character ID as an object, and each character has an option for an ID. Now, do I implement that? I have a gut feeling that says I should. And I think the ID. So it'd have to be a script. Now, how would you find a character holding that ID? So you have to search for it, I suppose. You have to have a look for all objects of that type. So look for all character ID objects, and then search each one and find out what the ID number of each character is, and then once you've found it, find out which character is holding that ID, and then do what I was going to do here. Now that does mean I don't need to store characters, I just need to store numbers, which on a data perspective, my day-to-day job being like data kind of database-based kind of work I do, it makes more sense to hold numbers. Numbers are less intensive on storage, and they're easier to find. Like a number will always be a number, like 4629 will always be 4629, but Joe Blogs NPC 2 might have their name changed at some point and then break the entire system. But it's very rare you're going to change a number ID. So it would make sense, because he's not always going to be called villager_m_01_rigged. REF. So I know it's going to be more work, but I feel that's the better way, and you should always do things the better way if you can do it. So I'm thinking I need to make a... If I make ID cards, effectively make ID cards. So like I'm making like dialogues here, like a dialogue object that has a piece of text and an MP3. And that's like text and speech in one object. I'm going to be doing a lot of those. So ideally I'm going to make a new folder because there's going to be a lot of them. Well, not in this case, but if I'm going to use this mechanic in a future project, there's going to be a lot of dialogue. So let's turn it down here. So yeah, okay, it's going to be a prefab. Let's open prefabs. Let's make a new folder. So create a folder. We'll call this folder ID cards. And I could use this for multiple things then, I suppose. Like many things can go, okay, who is the ID card holder for this thing? Like maybe for like quests, like you have to speak to a certain person. Once you speak to the person holding the ID card, the quest will continue. So it makes sense. It's not just for having a conversation. So in my head that feels like it's more worth it. That it opens it up to having more kind of more features, because Unity does have a tag system up here, but that's more like category. Like I could have a tag here, and you can't see it on the stream, but it comes up with a list. You can't see the list, but there's a list here. So this list has like finish, main camera, player, game controller, ball, castle, grid, ground. So basically categories. But each NPC is still going to be an NPC. They're just going to have a unique way to reference this person. And it's not necessarily going to be an NPC. It could be anything. Like using the NPC controller is going to be specific to NPC. So if I make ID cards, then that could be anything. It could be a sword. It could be a weapon. It could be a chest. So to me that probably feels better. I suppose, do I go a bit further with this? Do I just have it as like an object container? Think of it like an invisible chest. And this chest has a number stamped onto it. And the character sits inside the chest. Rather than the character holding an ID card, is it just something that the character sits inside of? No, that's going to make things awkward in the hierarchy, I think. I think if it's part of the character is holding the ID card can still have a lot of information. Because yeah, like typical, if you're holding an ID card in real life, it might have your date of birth, it might have your picture, it might have like I don't know what you kind of club you belong to or whatever. So I think, yeah, we do that. We make an ID card. It could be for anything. It could be like, what type of thing is this? Is this a person? Is it an NPC? Is it a rock? So I feel that would be quite useful. So just to identify things. So we're going to need to make a scriptable object. Greetings. Oh, there you go. Nafal Slaft. Nafal var Slaft. I don't know how you would say that. There's nothing with that kind of combination of letters. That's the Dutch translation of your name. Oh, okay. So is Nafal like a hug? Yes, okay. I shall remember that. And Slaved? I'm assuming it's junkie. I sell emotes. Hey, these sell the best emotes on Twitch. There they are. 40 gig video is at 62 minutes. Ooh. Thank you, thank you. 62%. 62%. I remember when I was editing and uploading my download festival videos years ago. Like that was like a several hours kind of job. I just remember like say, okay, leave it uploading, it'll be ready in the morning kind of thing. Yes. But yeah, I was uploading HD video. And you're looking about, I don't know how long my download videos. I think I tried to make them about 15 minutes. So okay, 15 minutes is a good watch time for a lot of people on YouTube. If it goes on longer than that, people are like, maybe I'll watch the rest of it later, but then they don't. But if you do it part 1, part 2, they go, oh, I've watched part 2, part 1, I'll save part 2, and then they have that ready to watch later and not continue a video they already started watching. Because I do that myself. I'll get halfway through a video, intend to watch the rest of it, but then I completely lose that I was even watching that video, let alone where I was. And sometimes YouTube remembers. It goes back to it. Oh, I must have already started watching this because the bar's partway through the video. And I end up not remembering the first bit I watched anyway, so I have to watch the entire video again. But yeah, doing things in parts certainly help with that. But I've not done that for a while. I kind of fell out with editing video. I still like to do it. I still want to go back and edit. I still have video to go back and edit. But like many things, I'm kind of a little bit way they do a lot of stuff. New behavior. This is the full album stream, but for YouTube. Oh, nice. New behavior script. Oh, okay. I've just never let's delete that. I never left it on its default name before. Why do I hear music that isn't cold step or redacted? I thought I'd start with some fog mantle, just to get me in the mood. Then I might play some cold step. Did find some other music today. Might play that as well. Did you get into the other genre? I did. I really liked it. I only bought one album so far. We'll likely get the others at some point. ID card. So we're going to make a scriptable object, and we're going to get it to hold several different values. So it's not a mono behavior; it is a scriptable object. We don't actually need anything. It doesn't really have any script. Oh, public link ID. Probably quite a useful thing to have. Thank you, Visual Studio. So we have an ID number. Let's go. Sidewalks and Skeletons, Rituals, White Ring, Salem, Grim Freeze. Sounds like a start of a... all big names in the genre. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like the start of some kind of spell. And just kind of chanting such things over a cauldron. So Grim Freeze could be Grimes, I suppose, but with a 3. Want to know something very weird about the genre? Ooh. Go on then. Always interested in hearing weird stuff. What other information do I need to have for this ID card? Probably a name, I suppose. We go string. Let's go ID name. -1. It's popular in Russia because in Russia the word witch is very close to the word for AIDS, and they thought it was cool because of that, which is a very dumb way of liking something. Yeah. It has nothing to do with the genre itself, just how Russians look at it. Yeah, I suppose it's like pirate music. Sounds cool, not necessarily the case. But yeah, in one country on this earth it became popular because the Russians like AIDS. Who the hell like AIDS? Yeah, I suppose there's some sort of dark sense of humour. Now I've still got the filter on my alt account, and obviously the word AIDS is blocked by Twitch. I'm half tempted for just to keep that filter on, just to see what words aren't allowed with that kind of filter. Like, AIDS is quite a serious thing. Why it's filtered, I don't know. Maybe people are using it to kind of throw insults at people. Has it already finished the music? Yeah, I wouldn't say it's funny at all, yeah. You have to have some kind of dark humour. Really dark humour. Yeah, Russians, yeah. Let's have a looky at some other music. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, that Fogmental Album's only very short. Well, it's not being fitting with the theme, but I'm going to listen to some cult stuff. Because it's good. Where's it put it? Wherever you put it, Windows, of course, at the bottom of the page there. Let's put that about there. Let's see how that goes. I'm guessing it's going to go a little bit louder. About there? I think that's about good. Adjust it later if need be. I was tempted to have a nap earlier, but thought if I have a nap, I will not be streaming. Let's put that about there. So hopefully be loud enough to hear, but not too loud, you can't hear me. So we have an ID number. Let's make it capital. So ID name. We'll leave it as that for now. Oh, nearly forgot. I need to put in create asset menu. There it is. So we can go create ID card. Awesome. Now, I call this ID 0001. Now, if I go about this the wrong way, does it need to be a scriptable object? I suppose having it as a scriptable object means it's a set thing. What I probably do need to have is a another piece of script that will hold the ID card now. Alien invasion. Yes. Now, the intro to the album is great, but be right back, dog walk time, okie dokie. Oh, I focus with this kind of music anyway. Right, if I want to focus, I listen to this. I find relaxing music doesn't necessarily focus me. I need music to be as snappy as the thoughts in my brain. So if it's snapping, 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 my brain kind of keeps pace. New age music makes me nervous. Ah. Now, if it's too chaotic, I can't focus. Like, there has to be a structure. Like, this Alien Invasion track, for instance, as you've got the stereo sound going on, where you've got like different sounds firing off in different ears, which kind of just keeps things moving. But it's not distracting. Hate vaporwave with a passion. I can listen to vaporwave, but sometimes it just gets annoying. Like, I can understand why you would hate it, but like, depending on what I'm trying to do, I find it sometimes just frustrating. I need to have something with a good solid structure and like a low end. It needs to have a good solid low end, like a beat or a bass in there. And that helps kind of structure my mind a bit more. Sometimes people also sometimes think it's chill. I hate it. Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, it all depends on what mood I'm in as to what music works better. Because yeah, sometimes certain music doesn't work for me, and then other times it does. Like, most of the time, I can't think of a time it hasn't, but most of the time dubstep works for me. So yeah. Especially if you got a good kind of stereo balance going in there, with different things moving from ear to ear. It kind of takes me out of my actual physical environment and allows me to focus purely on what I'm doing. If music doesn't take me away from where I'm currently sat, then it's just too distracting, really. Right, so yeah, we're going to need to have a card holder. Let's make a very quick card holder. Now, this card holder will have some functions in it which allow you to read the card ID and other things. So there's a card holder, and the card holder will be able to have an ID card. So let's knock this down. Go public ID card. ID card. Let's do that. Doesn't need to be complicated right now until we decide how we want to do this. So we're giving our NPC here a card holder. Let's open it up. Let's go give him ID 1, name, test, NPC. And we'll give him that card. Okay, it's got a nice card ID now. Suppose when this interacts with that, it's going to go, does this character hold a card? You go, yes, what is their card? Does it match? Yes. So let's go back to here then. So rather than characters, this could be IDs. So this was quite simple before. We will have to change it a little bit. So when it collides, it's not whether it's holding that particular game object, but we'll need to see what the collision object, if the collision object has a card holder. So probably going to be make an object, so ID card, ID card, so ID card equals try get components. Card holder. Dot. So we have to get the card holder first, don't we? Card holder, new card holder. No, I didn't. Output. Oh, so the output goes into that. Gotcha. Should have known that. So if it can find a card holder, then it's going to be. So this is where the card holder needs a bit of scripting now. Public ID cards. Get ID. This could be ID card equals holder dot get ID card. So that'll narrow it down. And the ID cards so character, so rather than character, let's go serialized fields. We'll keep character in there for the moment. Public int, there's going to be an array of ints. It's going to be ID underscore cards. Copy that. So if ID cards contains ID cards dot ID, the use of unassigned, oh, because I suppose it's there. Let's drop that into here. Of course it's unassigned. So we're creating a card holder, creating an ID cards. We're then saying the thing that just walked into us, does it have a card holder? We go, yes. Okay, if it's got a card holder, what is the card in the card holder? And then the ID number on the card, is that in our list of cards that we're looking for? If so, go ahead and start a conversation. So this is where my day job comes into helping me with game dev, because this is very much day jobs kind of stuff. Good. None of this requires you to have a visual fun element to it. I still need to look at this whole play next dialogue thing. I suppose once it's playing, because it only plays, it will only do this once. So it'll only really look through this setup once. Well, it'll go through these sections here multiple times, but it'll only do this section once per conversation. Now, I suppose to save doing multiple things here, like if this conversation's already been triggered, there's no point doing any of this. So it looks nice and neat that I'm working in a structure, but I suppose ideally I need to be checking the conversation at the very start before even continuing. So I grab I do that. And put that inside of that. Now I don't actually need it there then. So we're going, has the conversation started? If not, have we actually collided with something? And then it goes down to this point. So, let's save. That does mean so we're still playing to character. So rather than get characters, so conversation, this conversation needs to have IDs. Now, do I could probably put the ID number into the dialogue at this point and do away with an extra setup. That makes sense to me. So let's go to dialogue. And we go public int go character ID and because it's an ID, it doesn't matter that there's no physical object attached to it. And that will save this bit as well then. Could it just be the length of dialogue? So I can comment that. So read this dialogue count. Which makes more sense than this naming here. So it's working out for the better doing it this way anyway. It's more work in this setup, but it makes it cleaner. So rather than returning characters, I could still have character. But ideally, I want to return back. Welcome back. I ideally want to return just unique numbers anyway, and that can be done within the conversation. So get characters, because make sure that's saved. So get characters are only really used here. But then character isn't actually used we'll take that out. What we do need to get is ID cards. So this can be just pulled out to another function. So let's go to conversation. Let's put it in here. Public int array get unique IDs. And do that, and then return I suppose it could have to really be a I'll do. This one we know well, yes. One of my favourites. I'll go drop that in. Damn it. Put that in there to right, so here I want to pull out the IDs from the dialogues. So probably need a 4. Oops. That's just confusing. Why is it not completing me in the for loop? That's annoying. What do I want? What's the components I want here? So, I already have dialogue count. Equals 0. To dialogue count I plus plus. What am I missing then? Dialogue count is not a bool though. It's an int. Okay, let's have a quick I'll give you an example of a 4. There we go. 4 is why. Oh, why is it less than? So I is less than dialogue count. There we go. ID S do that. So what I'll do is create an array of all the ID numbers, even though there's duplicates. And then What I want to do is do a dot distinct. IDS equals IDS I didn't have the link. Is that what we had in oh, we did, yeah. Cool. So that only returns the unique numbers in that ID. Going to comic convention with the family tomorrow. Ooh, nice. Is that fairly local, or you have to travel a bit for that? "30-minute drive, give or take. That's not bad. Like, I would have to drive about 30 minutes to go to anything of real interest. Like, 30 minutes gets me, well, like about 25 minutes gets me to the next town over to go and see Nick's. And they have a lot more stuff over there. And 45 minutes will get me into Birmingham. And there's a lot more stuff going on over there. Hi, it's back. Welcome back, Lisa. I sell emotes. Still sell the best emotes. I quite like this Rift song. Quite raw. See, this is the kind of music that helps me focus. This exact kind of sound. I can't have really too many vocals. Vocals distract me. No, I don't really consider like metal screaming to be like vocals in the same way. I see that more like an instrument. It's like a vocal sample, it's an element, rather than an actual person singing. I'm going to cut my losses and remove those bits, because I think I'm on the right track now. Right, so play next dialogue, that's okay. There's another good one. Turn it down a little bit so it's not so loud. I think this one hits a little bit harder. So play next dialogue. This needs to not only grab the audio, but grab the text and pass the text to the relevant character. But As we stand, I don't need that in there anymore. As we stand, I think nothing is broken. I think it should... oh, this bit, of course. So ID cards, I need to go ID cards equals conversation dot get unique IDs. We don't need that line in there. So that pulls in a list of unique ID numbers in the conversation. Then if anyone walks into the conversation trigger, we say, is the conversation being started already? If not, do a catch to make sure we haven't got a broken thing by checking for nulls. Then set up a holder and a card. Try to get a card holder from whatever walked in. If it has a card holder, get the card from the card holder. And then check if the ID number on the card matches the list of cards we got up here. If it does, start the conversation. So I'm happy with that. So the conversation should continue on from this point. So you've got character dialogue. So this is only controlling the speech bubble. The cards are just holding card IDs, we don't need that. Card holder, that's returning the cards when, yes. What are your favourites that I hadn't heard yet, by the way? So, I certainly liked Rift. What are we on now? It's just started playing Dragon's Throat. The Dragon's Throat. Now this one's pretty cool as well. So again, it's got quite a raw, heavy sound to it. I like music that has like the sound of like machines. Like you could almost imagine machines making the music. Like something heavy is making it. It's not just an instrument, but something is physically hitting something else. That isn't just percussion. Some of my favourites coming soon. Nice. I like Killbots. That's pretty cool. Swamp Lungs is great. No, I'll pay extra attention to that. Like, they're all great, but no, I definitely like Alien Invasion. But yeah, Killbots really stood out for me. Definitely Rift. Well, delete those because I don't think we're going to need. We might need more functions in there, but we can have them. Funeral Plague Generator is also fave. If you had that, yes, yeah, I quite like that one as well. Toy box sound, yeah. All things you crank, yeah. So I'm happy with that. Card holder, I have a feeling I'm going to have to do some more with this script. But we'll let it recompile back in Unity. Let's do that. Don't really need to return character now. Those I named were made for the album last week. Rift, Killbots, actually outtakes when I still make singles. Oh, okay. So's Dragon's Threat. Nice. Now, there's a lot of sounds in these tracks that remind me of certain Prodigy albums. Like, not the whole song, but like certain parts of it. Yeah, I'm liking Swamp Lungs, definitely. It's got a nice groove to it. Better use samples, only voice samples, so couldn't be that. Oh no. Maybe they also use syrup. Yeah, it's the same kind of synth. It's that kind of gritty synth sound. That's the later Prodigy stuff was more synth based, but the early stuff was very much sample based. My PC at first didn't like that Redacted album. Oh, it had XE at the end, yeah. Of course. That's Windows for you. Oh, and I like that switch to double time. This was actually Mac. Windows isn't bitching change. Wow. Yeah, I expect Windows to have a problem with you. Yeah, there's an artist called .exe, like DOTEXE. But I suppose because it's spelled DOT rather than actual .exe, I think he gets away with it. But he put out on Instagram that he's been struggling with alcohol for a while, and that he's been alcohol free for some time. And he's wanting to get back into music. It's pretty cool. Yeah, he's just going by scottstanley.exe now. Yeah, 1 year without alcohol. Which house is notorious for having untypable names? I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, I noticed at least a couple of bits there. Kabuki? Odd one out sound-wise. But I liked it a lot. Also now it didn't become a single. I had Wobble in Kimono and just didn't feel like a single. That's fair. It's a lot more calmer, a lot more kind of melodic kind of sounding. So it definitely didn't fit with what you were releasing at the time. Not to say it's bad, but yeah, I can see it doesn't fit the rest of it. Now this reminds me a lot of Lindsey Sterling, because you got the violin along with the dubstep sounds. I'm a big fan of Lindsey Sterling. Right. So we've got the whole thing to determine if the person is the right person. We now need to be able to identify the characters that hold a card. Now this guy here is going to need a card holder. We'll have to make a new card, so let's go create ID card and call this ID 0002. And drop that into there. And give him an ID number of 2. And well, actually, is he? He's a bard. Let's call him bard. Okay. Yeah, Clockwork Crucifix. After this one, only title song left, yeah. These two are also new special for the album, not outtakes. Nice. I think you've definitely put these in the right order. Like, there's a certain order that album songs kind of fit, and these definitely are fitting quite well. Ooh, excuse me, what are we looking for for time? Cool. Coming up to half. half 10. Wrong T sound. Now, I suppose, how do we find we need to be able to search for we need to be able to search for game objects that have the card holder script. Now, let's do a quick Google, see if there's anything out there that allows me to do such a thing. Or do I have to make something up? Unity search for game object with components. Way to get all object with certain component script attached. That is exactly what I'm after. Find objects of type. It returns an object array, but you can cast that to a type you're looking for and get the game object that's attached. That the game object is attached to. Ah. So object.find objects of type. Next is game folks. Jack signature so comes up with key. Find object of type or find the object array. Okay. So probably do having that in the conversation here. So this is probably where I'm going to need the characters. Let's do a function down here for now. Do a private void find all card holders Yeah, definitely liking the title song. Very epic. Object dot find object of type. I suppose it finds all. Objects of type. It was close, but apparently two secs. Let's see what is dog barking outside my house. Yeah, for some reason, sort of two people like to slowly walk past my house with different dogs that don't like each other. Well, say don't like each other. One dog did not like the other dog. Right, let's quickly find some other music to put on. And then we'll just get this bit of script working. And then we'll call it a night. Angry again. I'm switching between you and another friend that is live. He is from the US. He said the word soccer. Playing some soccer. We play football, they play egg hand. Yes, or hand egg. For a game that consists of foot touching the ball for such a small amount of the actual gameplay, it's not a very suitable name. Soccer is a made up word. It is. Apparently it's an abbreviation. Why do they call it football? They carry an egg shaped thing, not ball shaped. Yeah. Unless at some stage it evolved from football and they just kept calling it football despite being a completely different game. But it's very close to rugby. Just bought the new Ajax home jersey of this year. Ooh, nice. And a plushie of their mascot for these. She wanted it for a while. Nice. What is the mascot for Ajax? They're not too familiar. It's a fox. Nice. That's pretty cool. In the Ajax jersey. Awesome. I always thought it was a red cat. I suppose technically foxes are some kind of red cat. Ah, nice. Yeah, I can see why you might think it's a cat. That's pretty cute though. Both wrong, it's a bobcat. The one with the pointy ears, bobcat. Yeah, I think so. Not sure of his correct English name. Yeah, I think I think bobcat is probably correct. Oh, bobcat. Yeah, I'd say that's a bobcat. Well, I did notice I was in your stream, I was in my friends, but then with your sound, I just kept saying Big Red Cat in his chat. He was confused, but he was muted by me, so I didn't hear confusion. Just shouted, Big Red Cat, go, I don't know what's going on. Oh, I just had a quick Google. Apparently, Lucky Lynx is the name of the mascot. So the links. Just as typing, yeah. Dutch word for bobcats. Ah. So what is the difference between a lynx and a bobcat? Lynx and bobcats are both wildcats in the lynx genus, but they have distinct differences in size, appearance and habitat. They look very similar though. You see a picture of a bobcat and a lynx. They're like part of the same family. So a lynx tends to be slightly larger than a bobcat, but they're pretty much the same thing. But yeah, we refer to a lynx as a lynx. So lynxes are smaller than cougars, but larger than bobcats. So it goes bobcat, lynx, cougar. As far as a red Maine Coon. But yeah, I wouldn't have looked at Lucky Lynx and go, oh, that's a lynx. I've always thought of lynx to be more like snow-based creatures. Like, I always think of a lynx as being in the snow. I wouldn't have thought them as like red fur. But bobcats look like they have more of a red fur than a grey fur. I didn't know lynx was also in English. Yeah, lynx is also a brand of male deodorant as well, which the Americans refer to as Axe. Sort of known to be used by teenage boys. Lynx is more red, bobcats are more grey. Okay. Want to pet both. Both are big happy kitties. If not friend, why friend-shaped? My cause of death would be trying to pet wild animals, yeah. Die doing a thing you loved. Okay, so let's try this slightly differently. So let's go game object, but we need to go open bracket card holder space game objects probably don't need the brackets around everything. Type of bracket. Oh, there needs a bracket round that because that's a conversion. So what's wrong with this then? Turns that cannot convert type object to card holder. Let's apply that fix there. What am I missing? So open bracket, type, square brackets, close bracket. That's note to that singular, very useful. Objects of type. Find objects of type. Ah, of course. There we go. Missing an S. Just ordered the two things. Oops, bring that easy to read on here. Just ordered the two things, and it already sends. Hope they don't come when we're still at comic thing. Ah, okay. Oh, right. So the rapid shipping bug sounds of it. Right. So we're pulling in all the objects that have card holders. We then want to go ID card, ID cards, oops, put brackets in one place. Don't think I want to do that actually. So now I want to go through all of the card holders and find out which objects have the ID numbers I need in it. AliExpress is trying to sell me a stereo amplifier for €18. I feel like it wouldn't give me a good sound, but would burn my house down. So if you want a cheap fire starter, I'm sure AliExpress will help you there. I'm never sure about buying stuff I plug into the mains from cheap market like store things. Anything that's USB powered obviously isn't going to burn anything down. But anything plugs into your mains, probably not. Like I'll never buy a phone charger from any kind of cheap market. I've seen too many horror stories. Same, yeah. I did when I was in Thailand buy a cheap phone charger just for Thailand. I thought it was easy just to buy a phone charger there. And I didn't use it obviously once I left Thailand. I don't even know if I still have it. I'm not sure it's in a box somewhere. Whether it broke before I even left. I thought, yeah, it's just easy to buy a phone charger there. I did once with a Mac charger, plugged it in, short circuited the whole house and melted it inside. Ooh. Yeah. No, it's not worth it. Oh, it's actually IntelliSense work this time. So I'm going through all the card holders. I then want card holders. OJ is €90. This one was 20. It was a wasted 20. Yeah, ends up paying for a real one anyway. But instead of losing 90, I lost 110. Yeah, it's just not not worth it long run. Oh well, live and learn. Yeah. There's a phrase I've heard a few times where it's if you buy cheap, you buy twice, because buying cheap things means they won't last, and you don't have to rebuy them. Whereas you can afford to go a bit more expensive, higher quality, then it's going to last you. The unfortunate thing is you don't always have that money. You might not have had €90, and you go, well, I need one. I only have like 20. You have a similar one. Okay. It's interesting how these phrases kind of get around. Buy cheap is buying expensive. Ah. Yeah, I like it. Same literal translation. That's very to the point though. I was like, well, yeah, you're spending more money if you're buying cheap. I used it some days ago when someone told me a story of hiring the cheapest construction worker they could find. Oh no. That's why a lot of the houses in the UK are just not good. Like the new houses. Because they go for like the cheapest construction they can. Who damaged so much that the repairs were way more expensive than hiring a good one. Yeah, for the rebuild. Exactly. Like, I wouldn't cheap out on stuff that's going to affect my life. Like, if it broke and it didn't affect my life in any way, I'd be like, yeah, I'll risk it. But if it's not going to affect, if it is going to affect me, like my house or like electrical sort of equipment, or yeah, I'm not cheaping out. Like, I'm still going to look around and go, well, okay, this one's cheaper than that one, but is it too cheap? Are they cutting corners? So what's the cheapest kind of quality one? There's no point going for the most expensive just because they're expensive. So there are companies that go, oh, we put our price up, people go, well, they must be expensive for a reason. You go, no, you're just expensive because you were expensive. Also knew a girl that wanted Uggs during the Ugg craze. She ordered them from abroad since it was like €30 cheaper than Dutch store. She had to pay so much import, they were way more expensive than the local bought ones. They ended up being fake. She wore fake, ugly versions that everyone would think, look at her being poor. But she ended up owning more expensive ones than anyone else. Yeah. They said Snugs. The wrong colour. Oh no. Yeah, cheap fashion as well. If you're trying to go for like a cheap branded thing, like you can get away with certain things like cheaper knockoffs. Also a good example of the phrases, yeah. But yeah, if I don't particularly care, I just want something that looks similar, then I'll go, okay, this isn't exactly what the craze thing is at the moment, but it does what I want to do. Like, if you start buying stuff because you want to look a certain way, and you haven't got the money or don't want to spend the money, yeah, that's kind of like trying to pose a bit more. It's different with jewellery, like, because jewellery looks nice, like, rather than having like a diamond ring, for instance, it could be like zirconia or other kind of cheaper stones, because it looks nice. It doesn't have to be a diamond to look nice. Only you know the worth of it. Divo watch, the OG is 9k. Don't have 9k for watch now. But homage for €90. That's one-to-one saying, but it's a for logo, yeah. Like, you like the way it looks, and to everyone else, it just looks like a nice watch. That could be 9k. But yeah, like, I see that with like stones and stuff all the time. Like, it doesn't have to be authentic. Like, especially with diamonds. Like, who really wants a diamond when so much goes into getting a diamond? But it's just a shiny rock. Like, it's not a fake. If it had same logo printed on it, it would be fake. Watches like these called homages, 100% legal. Oh, nice. Fake Rolex, yeah, is illegal. Yeah, like. My example I was thinking was like a fake Rolex where it's trying to be a Rolex, but that the homage is like, well, it's inspired by that brand, and you see it a few things like it's not really like fashion, but like certain food items and drink items. You see like different versions that, especially like Aldi and Lidl. Supermarkets where they will do, not necessarily do fake versions, but they'll do their own versions, and you go, well, it's not the original, but I'm still enjoying something close to the original at a fraction of the cost. And it doesn't matter if someone goes, oh, you're eating Aldi's version of a big brand food item. You know, I don't care. Big brands even accept homages. They don't see them as competition. Someone who wants a real one will buy. Wants a real one will buy cheaper homage anyway. Yeah. Won't buy one. Fake to do and down legal consequence. Yeah, like I see them like so like Gucci, like big fashion brands. And like in the UK we have Burberry. Like, so very definite it has to be that brand for it to look like that. And yeah, you see like these cheap fashion items that are supposed to be other items, and you see them on markets going for like 1/10 for the price. You go, yes, that's obviously not real. It's either been stolen or it's a fake. No one's selling at that price. So you either understand it's fake and you're happy with that, or you're fooled yourself. But yeah, I've owned a few things which have been like, I suppose what you call them as homages. I've never really thought of them as a homage, but yeah, like in a similar style of things. I've been quite happy with them. Like, I don't need to be walking around with like a certain brand of shoe, for instance, as long as it's a nice looking shoe, and it could be styled upon an expensive brand of shoe. But these days I nearly exclusively wear Converse. But that's because I like Converse. And yeah, they're not cheap shoes, but they last because of the quality. Again, it's the phrase of you buy cheap, you buy an expensive. But I'd rather spend money on Converse I know that will last me like a year and a half of constant wearing. And after that, yeah, I need some more. Rather than ones that won't even last a year. I had Converse for years as well. Nice. Yeah, I find them comfortable. Especially my current ones have been upgraded with like memory foam insoles. So if like the cushioning on the foot is just so nice to kind of walk in. So yeah, very happy with Converse, and they're flat enough. I don't want like big chunky shoes. I'm quite happy with flat shoes. And they're comfortable enough to kind of do a lot of activity in as well. So I usually go to the gym wearing them, so I'll wear them to work because work are okay with me wearing Converse. Like, there's people that wear like trainers and stuff at work, but I wear my Converse. They fit in anyway. Like company shirt is blue. I have blue jeans and my Converse are blue and white, so the whole kind of look fits nicely. Get unique IDs, so they're in the IDs. Hey B, how's it going? Hello, hello. It's good to see you. How's it going? We're just working some code logic out. I'm thinking I'm going to have to make this a set value up here. It's going. Just woke up from a nap. Nice. Yeah, I was thinking of a nap earlier. But I was a little bit tired. But I know if I nap before I stream, I don't stream because I'm like, I'd rather just have a longer nap and I just don't bother. Saw posting Discord. Yeah, I've been streaming, doing this for a while. I thought, you know what? Let's just post and going live. Making a game, yes. Watching Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, by the way, and they're literally kicking girls off for being too fat. What? Oh, I suppose, yeah, cheerleaders are brutal. I'll show you one that's too fat, sick. Yeah, the beauty standards in cheerleading is just ridiculous. But yeah, making a game. I'll show you what I've got so far. I'm currently trying to work on a conversation mechanic. They're saying she's fat. Like, I couldn't even... If you asked me to point at any fat, I couldn't even point at it. Yeah. Yeah, it's unhealthy for women to kind of consider, like... it's because they gotta toss them inaccurately. Toss them accurately or a beauty standard. I suppose they need to be fit. You need to be athletic, don't you? Yeah. But then the world's strongest man, for instance, is fat. It's combi, yeah. Like, he's got a huge belly, but he can lift the biggest stones. And you could probably carry a cheerleader on each arm. Yeah, I can understand if you've got a certain weight limits, but... You know, say over a weight limit, fair enough. But yeah, I know it's very competitive. It's a sport, still a sport. But yeah, it's I know there's a certain kind of standards they keep to. But yeah, making a game. I'm working on a mechanic to make characters talk to each other right now. Now, this isn't... I probably put more effort into this than the rest of the game. This is not gameplay. But jockey steals, yeah. When you weigh up a jockey for a horse racing, yeah, they have to consider how much weight a jockey is. Oh, it's neat. Yeah, this is like an asset pack. I bought this off Humble Bundle, like all these kind of individual things, and I've arranged it into a market scene. There's nothing else around. It's just, but I'm trying to make these characters talk. This isn't the gameplay. This is just me going, well, I want to make these two characters talk. The gameplay is completely different. I'll show you what this bit here. This is the intro when you start the game, like a cutscene. I'm going to see if I'm going to save it in case it blows up. If I hit play, so I've only animated this one guy first. So I've got it so that the idea is they're supposed to be walking along, having a conversation, giving some exposition about what's happening in the game. So he stops at the market stall, talks to the market stall vendor, and then carries on walking through the market. The main dialogue is going to be, well, we're fed up with the lord of the land is taxing us too much, and they're not using our taxis to fix our village. Look at all these broken buildings. People are now homeless. We're fed up with the lords. We should do something about this. So, you know what? Let's go and steal a trebuchet. I know there's one over here. Let's take a trebuchet and go and throw things at the lord of the land. And that's basically what their conversation is going to be. Sounds familiar, yeah. It's not inspired by any real events at all. It's just purely fantasy. But I'm sure it'll resonate with people. Scenes. So the actual gameplay, this is way fancy than it needs to be. I need to up the actual gameplay, because this is the gameplay over here. So we have a trebuchet. There's a guy who lives in this house. He's taxing the people in the village. Maybe the house needs to be bigger. But if I actually play this, oh, for sure, someone fix those gosh damn potholes. Exactly. Let's turn the music down on this. So I've actually got the main game mechanics finished. So I've got like options menu and all this. I can change what I'm throwing. I've only got a rock unlocked at the moment. So all I can do is throw rocks. I can go left, like rotate left and right. I'll hold down the space bar. I'll power up the trebuchet, let go. It throws the rock at the building and leaves a crack. And the if I turn off the music, because there is some sound in it, as nice as that music is, yeah, it's probably quiet. Let's turn up the sound effect volume. Music. A little bit of music in there. Oh, YouTube version finally uploaded. Nice. 40 gig. Yeah, that's a lot to keep on your hard drive. I've kept most, if not all, of my video projects on a separate hard drive, like a USB one that I plug in. Yeah, so as I'm throwing rocks, it's cracking the wall. There's 120 areas on this building that I need to hit. I've hit 58 of them so far. And yeah, this is the main kind of gameplay. Like, I feel at the moment the intro is probably overselling it, but this is a basic level I've just thrown together to test the mechanic. But I could have left it. I could have just said, well, there's no reason. Here's a trebuchet. Hit the building. Kind of like a typical vandalistic premise. But I thought, you know what, let's put a little bit of a political twist in there and go, well, most people would have a reason to want to throw rocks at someone that is causing their life to be miserable. So let's make it about landowners and taxes. What I've done is I've made a hint button. So if I click the hint button, it highlights in red for a couple of seconds where I need to still take care of. And I've put extra hidden features like the tree will wobble when you hit the tree. If I just hit these last few ones. But pretty much everything you see here is part of the Humble Bundle pack I bought visually, and everything else is coded by myself. There's one or two things I've had to make, like, there we go. Hit everything, the building will then collapse. You kind of put some smoke effects up. You get awarded a medal. This one's silver. You're left with a pile of rubble and a nobleman lord waving a white flag in defeat. And these are individual brick objects that you can just keep throwing rocks at. We go to the next level. We've got a slightly bigger one. Now I was thinking just each level is just slightly different building configuration. And I've hidden some projectiles in here. We've got a barrel and we have a set of crates. So if you hit those with the rock, a bit lower still, got them. Now I can now choose the crate now I've unlocked it. That's basically all I've got so far, but there's more mechanics I would like to add to up the difficulty, make people think a bit more. But the main point of me making this game, apart from making a fun game, is that I have a grand idea of what I would like to make next. So I'm kind of making all the mechanics and features that I would like to see in my next project. Even if it's overkill for this project, if I try doing it in this one, work out how it's going to work, make it messy, do it kind of poorly, so to speak, and then I know how to do it better next project I start. Smart way to work. Yeah, glad you think so. I've been reading a lot of forums and a lot of advice online for game dev, and a lot of them say make a bad game, make at least one bad game. Like the first game, make it bad. Just make a game. It doesn't matter how good the game is. Intend to make it a bad game, a quick game. Don't think about it too much. Just play around with it, make it, test it, release it, get people to play it. And then once you've done that, you go, well, I've made a game now. I can now take my time, focus on making a good game. Because if you try and make a good game straight off, you'll get disappointed when you've not learned what you need to achieve. And go, maybe if I knew it beforehand, I could make it better. So this is me just trying things. Like, this had no documentation. This game had nothing written down. I literally opened up the editor and just started making it. Whereas I've documented the entire process of what my next project is going to look like before I've even started. Make a bunch of bad games and then end up with Potato. Yeah. So many indie games that come out of just experiments, I suppose. Yeah, the thing that Potato is just, it's a very simple premise, but it works. I've thought about trying to make the next simple game. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do simple. I've never done simple. I've seen so many devs put way too many years into their first game and it doesn't do well and they quit. Yeah, that's exactly the point, BU. You get disheartened. Like, if this doesn't do well, if people say this is a crap game, this, like, why do they even bother? It's like, well, it doesn't matter if no one likes it. It doesn't matter if it's a bad game, because I don't particularly care about the game itself. I care about the process of making the game. And to me, throwing rocks at buildings is kind of a fun mechanic. And I built an entire game around it. And some of the best indie games is one mechanic that has a game built around it. And yeah, I want to expand on this and add extra features to the mechanic, but the core mechanic is just throwing things at a building. Building falls down. Would Redacted be easy to mix as a DJ? Maybe. I need to get, like, these decks are gathering dust. Like, I've not DJed for so long, but I need to dust them off and just start playing music on that. But I reckon the Redacted album would probably, well, we can try. You never know. Not holding on tight to the outcome. Yeah. Like, I wasn't even going to release this game. A lot of viewers are coming and go, I would play this, tell me when it's finished. And I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Like, this is me testing myself. But if people actually want to play this, I better finish it. Hints. Oh, we've only got a couple bits left. I've not put any penalties for hints because I know how frustrating it is to go, where the hell is... Oh, they're down there as well. They're behind the crates. Oh, this is going to be fun. I'll come out of retirement. But yeah, if you wanted a copy of the game or just play it, so more than happy. I'll probably post it in Discords when it's ready to go anyway. And anybody from any of the communities that want to play. I'm not going to even charge for this. I'll just stick it probably on itch like a donation kind of thing. If you want to give me donations, fair enough. There we go. 6 minutes 21. I just love how it just explodes into bricks. I've got a mechanic in here, mainly for myself. You've got the little waving arm again. Now if I pause this, we can actually come over here. We can see a couple of the features. Here's the smoke generators here. So when the building goes down, these fire off and just put up a literal smoke screen across the building. The building will shake violently back and forth and will sink to the ground. I mean, it reaches probably about here. It will hide the building and then procedurally spawn these bricks. Like, these bricks do not exist when the game starts up. They only exist the moment the building sinks to a certain point, and then a calculation goes on that goes, well, randomly select a coordinate across this entire area and then start throwing bricks. So you never get the same pile of bricks each time. And I like that one site that plays a bunch of ads for you to play free games, but I think devs get out of it. Oh, not too familiar with that, actually. I'll probably look into these kind of things because it'll be useful for me to know where to put a game for people to see it. And I sell myself short. I know people would probably play this, but I'm not expecting people to spend money on this. Like, there's plenty of free games which are worse than this. So I do understand that I need to give myself more credit. Crazygames.com. I shall check that out. Thank you. Let's end that there. So yeah, I've done some quite clever things with this project that I'm quite proud of, I suppose. Like, there's no fancy physics with this building here. Castle, yeah. This is just an asset. This building could be anything. Like, there's nothing special. It does have a script attached to it, so it's running code, but otherwise, well, it's not even the building. The building sits inside. There's the building here. So the building could be anything. I could delete the building and the game will still run. All these like lines you can see here are the main game mechanics, and they will work regardless of what this building looks like. So I've made myself a very easy kind of sandbox to make levels. And even so, where the cracks appear on the front of the building, they actually don't exist until the game's running either. It's all runtime stuff. So this green square actually calculates the height and the width, works out how many targets the player will need to have, makes the targets, and then sets the crack image that the player will see when they hit it, counts them all up, puts it into the top corner to say this is how many the player has, and then every time you hit one, recounts them, updates the score. So I'm very happy with the way that's all worked out. But the free sounds like a good idea, and work to build a fan base for the next game. Yeah, like if people go, well, if you like this game, check this one out. Love the art style. Yeah, the art. That's what I bought this pack. So I thought this is pretty cute. I like the cozy style of games. Like this is very like a low poly, bold colours. And this trebuchet was a static prop, like it's something you have in the background. But I had to bring it into Blender and actually dismantle it and make it an actual movable trebuchet. Like to begin with, this was just, it wouldn't move, but I've had to detach these parts, detach that part, and then give it some physics and animations. So I've had to learn animation for that. Which is pretty cool. And that little waving arm I made from scratch in Blender, so that's all me. And I go back to the intro. But yeah, everything else here you see is come from the pack, and it's all very cute, very bold colours, and it works with what I'm working towards. But personally, I would like a little bit more polygons in my next project, because that is very, very low poly, but still a lot of detail. Like you can see they're carrying like scrolls and stuff, and they got knives. Very cool. Hey, Derez, howdy hug, howdy bee. It's cool. You brought it to life. That's so crazy. Yeah, it's good to have these things. Like, okay, don't worry about the physical items. Worry about the way the game works. Does it play? Is it fun? And if I want to go, actually, I want to make a better looking character, I can add a better looking character. But if he spends hours and days making a character and go, I'm done with this project. I can't be bothered. Does dyslexia cause you struggles in game dev? No. Funny enough, dyslexia does not affect coding for me, because there's no. It's more logical. Like, I find language illogical. Like, the English language does not make sense to me. Like, I can understand why the English language is the way it is, but there's no real logic to it. Whereas this is logical. Like, I understand keywords in here. Like, to make a function, you say, well, how accessible is the function? Is it a public function? Is it a private function? What does the function give back? Does it give back a void? Does it give back a integer? What is the name of the function? So these three words don't in themselves make a sentence that you read, but they're key bits of information, not a language as such. So this doesn't hinder me. It's only really when I have to spell stuff, my spelling gets in the way. But because I'm reading short bits of information, I find dyslexia doesn't really hinder me too much, which is quite good. Being busy, but I'm back now. I hope you're doing good. It's good to see you, Derez. Hope you've been, yeah, it's good to see you've been doing well. Doing good over here as well. English is a mess, it is. Especially, like, British English. We have a lot of other European languages kind of mixed in. I know American English has a few European influences, but yeah, we have so many French words that we use every day in French phrases, and yeah, it gets messy. You go, well, why does that do this? Well, because we borrowed this bit from the French, like this bit's from Spanish, and sort of it doesn't make sense when you combine this and that, but when you put it in the context, you go, okay, I don't care anymore. I'll just try and remember it all. There's no logic. It's interesting how your brain works that way. Thanks for the answer. No problems. Look, I'm always happy to go explain my methods and my thinking. Now, if anyone ever needs to or wants to understand any of this seemingly nonsensical set of characters on the screen, I'm happy to explain. Sounds like you have the right kind of brain for what you're doing. Don't think I do as well with logical work or strict structure. Yeah, I think that comes with your neurotypes, like the way your brain works. Like especially things like ADHD, your attention is too kind of scattered. Okay, I need to focus on this, but I'm also thinking of this, I'm thinking of that. And sort of, if you're able to kind of draw it all in and focus on just working out something, but then I know it's not always easy to do that. Like my neurotype thankfully allows me to kind of like blinker and just focus on this. Like the entire world stops existing when I'm thinking of this. And that kind of helps. Like I can kind of see. I'm very good at seeing stuff in my head. I can see what I need to kind of work out, and then translate that into what I need to type, and then I kind of type it onto the software. And as I say, that the entire room doesn't exist. Nothing else exists. And especially when I'm streaming, it's only really my chatbot and the software that exists at that point. And it's especially good, I find, for streaming, because I'm still kind of staying engaged with it. It's very easy to kind of go, I'm not so engaged with this anymore, I'm just going to walk off over there. but I can't do that because you guys are watching me. I can't just walk away. Like I could do if I need to, but if I don't need to walk away, I'll go, oh, my Nintendo Switch is here, let's just play a game and switch this on. I could easily do that if I wasn't streaming, but I have to stay focused because, well, I stay focused as much as I can. Like, I can spend like half an hour on the stream just chatting to people. We need all kinds of different brains. I love seeing how they work together and where they excel. Yeah, except that the world needs different types of brains. Unfortunately, the way kind of societal structures have been set up, it doesn't really promote such things, like as a whole. But if you look at it kind of on a very basic level, like every type of brain has been useful in society. It's not always profitable. There's no money in every type of brain. So some of them tend to get left behind. Well, there is money if you know how to kind of look at it. Like creative types, people that write games, for instance, probably don't see them as useful to society, such as like painters or musicians. Although those kind of neurotypes are quite different. We can't make a system for everyone when everyone is different. I feel averages kind of gets by. Yeah, it's unfortunate. You go for the average down the middle. But so when you kind of push out the outliers, you go, okay, well, we can't fit this person into the system, so therefore they won't be included in the system. That's when it becomes more of an issue. I tend to find that in like education-based or certain work types. I mean, it's unfortunate with my current job. Like, my current job is basically doing this. I get paid, not strictly to do this, but I get paid to kind of type words onto a screen and make computers work the way I want them to work. So my brain gets me paid thankfully, for what I do. Luckily in game dev, the people in that space tend to make better systems for us because they get it, yeah. For the most part, I think, well, yeah, game dev certainly. Software dev, the general kind of software dev, doesn't always sort of. They're kind of made with like other software devs. It's very easy for a software dev to make something in mind for another software dev and go, well, when I made it, it made sense to me. Why does not somebody from a different background and different knowledge get out of it what I put into it, kind of thing? But game devs put a bit more study into their end product, I think. There's certainly like accessibility. Like there's been more accessibility options in game dev than regular dev. Like, why would someone making like a standard Office application for writing report documents, why would they make that accessible? Like, they probably should, but then a game dev will go, actually, maybe these colours aren't going to be as easy to see for somebody who's got colour blindness, or maybe this font is a bit too unreadable for people with dyslexia. And you tend to see that more with game devs, whereas you have to go out your way as the person needing that extra consideration to modify a standard application. There are obviously some out there, but I think game devs go a bit further. 'Cause I've been surprised and happy to see that even like the more recent Assassin's Creed games, the first thing you see when you start the game up is, here's a list of accessibility options. Go through and change the game to make it work for you. Like, is the colours okay? Are the font size okay? Different sound levels. Like, you just go through the entire thing and you go, okay, now let's start the game, and you get to the menu. So that's great that games are putting in accessibility as the first option you come to, is that we want you to enjoy this game. And yeah, he just throws in that before you even get to the main menu. They get more feedback bringing attention. That's true, actually. There is hell of a lot more feedback, good and bad, for the game industry. Like, people will leave reviews. Like, you don't see a review for Microsoft Excel. It's not really. Used Excel for 2 hours, got bored, uninstalled it. You don't tend to see those kind of comments for Excel. You just use it because that's what people use. I suppose game industry is a bit more competitive. Like, there's thousands of games out there. There's only like 4 spreadsheet applications that I can probably think of off the top of my head. So you either use one of the 4 and you'd like it. But yeah, you do have to think more about it. And I think certainly seeing the world from a different perspective, you tend to think, well, if I see the world differently, other people will. And I need to take that into consideration. But yeah, I've not really thought too much in this one. Like I say, this is mainly, well, let's make it for me. I'll make the game for me. If I can understand it and I can play it and I enjoy it, I'll then get feedback from other people and go, well, does this work for everybody else? I'm hoping for the most part it will. Like this, I'm going to make this text very clear and readable. Potentially I could put a font option into the game. It's not something I'm thinking of for this project, but certainly next project I would like to have the option for the players to change which font they're using. Interesting thing on fonts I actually heard recently is that the font Arial, like the pretty common font Arial, cannot be used in video games. There's loads of other fonts similar to Arial, but you can't use Arial in video games because it's licensed. You have to pay the owner of the Arial font a lot of money to include it in your video game. Because I saw an article about an indie dev getting a hefty fine for releasing a game with Arial as their font. I didn't know. I just didn't know it was a licensed font. Gonna keep text balloons or voice acting at some point? Well, there's gonna be voice acting as well in here. Like this whole kind of where's my prefabs audio? Yeah, so I'm not sure how easy it comes through on the stream here, but I've made an object here called a dialogue object. And this dialogue object will have the actual text you see on the screen, an audio file, like an MP3 with the text being read out. And then that will kind of cycle through, okay, text audio, next text audio, next text audio. So just so I can like play with and test my ability to put voice acting into a game. So I'll probably voice act all of these ones. I've had a couple of people say, well, could I give it a go? I go, sure, if you want it. We've got a nice microphone. Try recording a few lines and we'll just put it into this little game here. But certainly the next game, I don't know if I'll do the boxes in the next game, next project. Certainly want voice acting in the next one, because I want to give the characters personality. But I'll see what these text boxes, these speech bubbles, look like once I've finished this. And if I'll go, actually this is clunky, the way they're following them around. I could go with just like the lower third and just have the text in the lower third like you see in a lot of games, where it has like a little profile image like on Stardew Valley, where it's got person image, their name, what they're saying, rather than having their text following them around. But yeah, we'll see how it looks. Hello, come here to shameless promote. Oh, links not coming through. Yeah, I think my Twitch blocks links by default. You're trying to promote Cult Step. There we go. No, it's on YouTube. It's YouTube blocking the links. Interesting. I need to review my bot settings. Cool seeing you game. Gotta run, but good to see you. Thank you for dropping in, BU. It's good to see you as well. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And yeah, hopefully see you next time. I'll try and post when I'm going live a bit more. I've just been kind of just ploughing into the stream, like knocking stuff over, hitting start stream and putting my headset on and just streaming for a few hours and then go, oh, I didn't actually tell anyone I was live. Take care, you too, BU. See you soon. Queen Wobble judges you. Yeah, might have to see if we can put a Queen Wobble pop up or something. Have it like the panda coming up and go, wee. Right, what's the time? It's 11:30. 11:30. So, what do we get to? Oh yeah, I'll make a quick note here, like store list of found IDs. Not found IDs. Still list of dialogu IDs. I'll put that in there. Hit save. We'll wrap the stream up because I've got a bit of an early start tomorrow anyway. But we'll do some more of this next Friday. We'll work on connecting the ID numbers to the characters and then grabbing the speech bubble and then throwing that in there. What am I doing tomorrow? I am going to a local Pride festival. So that's on quite early tomorrow. So go along to that. Check that out. Ooh, nice, yeah. Go dress up? No. Go casually. There's going to be plenty of people dressed up in bright colours and carnival stuff. Epic. Epic indeed. So yeah, gonna I'll switch over the camera for the last minute or so. That one. Yeah, well, it could be interesting. Amster Pride. Those men in thongs. Good. Yeah, I'm not wearing a thong. There, Derez. What's that one there? Ooh, Howling Baby. Those are cool emotes. I like those. But yeah, sorry I'm clocking off. It's all British times and all that. But it's good to see you as well, Derez. I've been thinking about you more recently. Because I know you had a birthday not too long ago. I completely missed it. So I hope that went well as well. But yeah, I'll be back. Should be back on Monday. I'll work out what we're doing Monday. And then do some, yeah, July 28th. Nice. 3 days before mine, that was. But yeah. Hope that was good. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your Friday. For those who still have Fridays left. And enjoy your weekend. And I should be back on Monday. With a nappy belated birthday hug. Thank you, Dress. It's already Saturday, yeah, you're in the future. But have a good night. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Derez. Thank you, BU. And all you lovely people I can see lurking. You're all awesome as well. I'm going to get some rest. I'm going to need to be up early. But we're back on Monday, and then we'll do Monday stream, Wednesday stream, and more game dev on Friday. So I hope to see you all then. I like the word nappy. Nappy was better there. Nappy belated birthday. It's cool. But yeah, hope you have a good night. I shall see you there. Good night.